But here's the thing, Skip. Their defense is going to be the undying of this football team. Because if you look at the first 4 games, they were average giving up, 42 yards a game rushing, less than 2 yards per carry. Since then, 117 yards per game, 4.6 a carry. In 3 of those games, the team has rushed for over 150 yards. I don't worry about Aaron Rodgers because he's going to be Aaron Rodgers. But he has to play flawless. He has to play like this in order for them to have a chance. Because if he's off slightly, they're not winning because he doesn't have the defense that he has when Charles Woodson first arrived and they could take the ball away if Aaron had a bad game. If he has a bad game now, you see what normally happened the last 4 games, they were giving up 30+. He had a great game. Defense played a little better. Now they held a team to 13 points.
Thank you. I was curious how you were going to go with this. I was afraid you're going to leap back on bandwagon with both feet and might even be driving the A-Rod bandwagon, right? Nope. Thank you. Now, that's objectivity. Way to go. So, back to the question. The Pack was definitely back for one night.
Yes.
But that last night was more about the crumbling Eagles than the rising Packers to me.
Okay.
And I remind everyone, the Philadelphia Eagles are now 2-6 since their bye week. 2-6 since Carson Wentz was presented for Hall of Fame enshrinement, right?
I was about to ask you, Skip.
Right.
So did they start losing once he got compared to Peyton Manning
and Brett Favre, right? That might have been a turning point for them in this season. But in the end, you know, Aaron Rodgers, look, I like to watch Aaron Rodgers. He is fun to watch.
Yes.
He is great for the National Football League. He was great for ESPN last night, and I assume the show he put on helped boost the ratings last night. I don't know that for a fact, but he is box office.
He is. He's big time.
You know, and if you let him get outside the pocket, he is especially box office because that's where he will carve you up. And he started early on to carve up the Eagles. And then, of course, early second half, he scrambled too far to the sideline, and I guess he tweaked his hamstring, and he was back to his insufferable self after the game, his arrogant, insufferable self. Aaron Rodgers said, I knew it was becoming a big story on television, so he had to go behind the little enclosure, you know, to get it retaped. And he was back for one night to being Aaron Rodgers. So let me finish on the Packers before I get to Carson Wentz. So if you look at the schedules, as you did, this division is still up for grabs, but I still believe the Detroit Lions are going to win it because they still have a 2-game lead over the Packers, 7-4 to 5-6, right?
And they've already beaten them head-to-head.
And they've already beaten them, and they
they lost. They lost.
They lost it at Green Bay, but they get that they have to go to Detroit on the last Sunday of the regular season. Now, Minnesota ain't out of it yet. My Cowboys have to deal with them Thursday night up in Minneapolis. They're at 6-5. But I still say at 7-4, Detroit has enough of a cushion, enough of an edge that they can win a couple of more games and get home as the division winner. And I still say that Matthew Stafford is playing at an even higher level than Aaron Rodgers was playing at even last night.